Marcus was passionate about diving and snorkeling, which fit perfectly with his career as a marine biologist. Each dive was a fresh adventure, making every day on the job unique. However, one particular day at sea would become unforgettable for reasons beyond his wildest expectations. On this day, Marcus and his team set out into the ocean, aiming to study a reef from a safe distance to avoid any damage. The visibility was crystal clear, and the water teemed with marine life. As Marcus and another diver collected data, they also enjoyed the chance to observe the vibrant underwater world around them. They were in an area known for humpback whale breeding, so spotting these majestic creatures was not unusual. Yet, today would prove extraordinary. While Marcus's dive partner returned to the boat with collected samples, Marcus decided to linger and enjoy the ocean. Diving solo was no problem for him. The depth was manageable, and he felt confident. But even the most experienced diver can face unexpected challenges. As the humpback whales swam by, one of them broke away and approached Marcus directly. Despite their gentle reputation, humpback whales are massive, and caution is always advised. Marcus tried to maintain his distance, but the whale seemed determined to make contact. Each time Marcus moved, the whale followed, eventually coming so close that Marcus was able to touch it. Petting a humpback whale was an extraordinary experience, but it soon turned unsettling. The whale began to push Marcus with increasing force. Despite his attempts to avoid her, the whale was relentless, nudging him with her fin and attempting to maneuver him beneath her. Marcus struggled to push her away, but she continued to press against him, her skin covered in barnacles that were scraping against his wetsuit. Feeling increasingly alarmed, Marcus realized he was in a precarious situation. The whale's persistence became more aggressive, and he had no way to stop her from pushing him around. The situation was becoming dangerous, and Marcus knew he had to stay calm to find a way out. She nudged him toward the surface. From the boat, Marcus's team could see him emerging, with the humpback whale beside him, pushing him along. However, they were too far away to help. After all, what could they do against an animal weighing up to 40 metric tons? The scene rapidly escalated into something even more alarming. Marcus could see the boat and the people on it, so close to safety, but he couldn't reach it. A human can never outpace a whale, even if he could keep it near the surface. Whales breathe air and spend much of their time on the surface, but in the water, Marcus was at the whale's mercy. Despite his extensive experience in the ocean, this was the first time he felt genuine fear, even from an animal he deeply admired. The crew on the boat was stunned. Whales don't usually behave this way, and what happened next was even more shocking. The whale suddenly engulfed Marcus and submerged. The crew quickly launched a small rubber boat and sped towards where Marcus had last been seen, unsure of how to handle the situation. While there are protocols for various sea creatures, humpback whales typically require only distance to stay safe. Still, witnessing a man being swallowed alive was beyond their comprehension. After 5 agonizing minutes with no sign of Marcus, they had no choice but to return to the boat and call ocean rescue for assistance. The atmosphere was heavy with dread. No one could have predicted such an outcome. Back at the boat, everyone was stunned to see Marcus lying on his back, breathing heavily but otherwise unharmed. The crew bombarded him with questions, but he raised a hand to silence them and began explaining. What everyone, including Marcus, had assumed was completely wrong. The whale hadn't intended to harm him. She was trying to guide him toward the boat. Marcus's struggle had been counterproductive. When the whale opened her mouth, it had looked as if she swallowed him, but she had merely pulled him underwater to swim faster and maneuver him better. Marcus hadn't realized that his struggles were counteracting the whale's efforts to protect him. As they neared the reef, he feared serious injury from the rocks if he continued fighting. The whale's gentle grip allowed him to breathe underwater through his gear, and despite his fear, his training helped him regulate his breathing. Once he realized that the whale's intention was to safeguard him, he decided to remain calm and go with the flow. Fighting only risked injury. He soon understood that the whale was pushing him away from danger when she tried to shield him with her pectoral fin. That was when he saw the real threat, a massive tiger shark emerging from behind the rocks. Encountering a tiger shark of such immense size alone could be disastrous. Marcus had a deep respect for sharks and disliked the negative stereotypes that surrounded them, but he understood why people feared tiger sharks. Known for their aggressive behavior, this particular shark seemed intent on confrontation. The shark circled the humpback whale, but its gaze was fixed on Marcus, the human she was determined to protect. Marcus remained as still as possible, realizing that the shark might have been stalking him for longer than he'd initially thought. All along, the humpback whale had been trying to shield him, while he unknowingly made her task more difficult. Her only goal was to get him back to the safety of his boat before the shark could strike. It was an extraordinary but not entirely unexpected behavior. Humpback whales have been known to protect other sea creatures, with several documented cases of them offering refuge to those in danger. While it's rare for them to interact with humans in such a protective manner, it wasn't entirely out of character given their intelligence and empathetic nature. Realizing it couldn't reach Marcus without going through the whale, the shark eventually turned and swam away. But the whale, not willing to take any chances, quickly resumed her efforts. She gently positioned Marcus on her nose and pushed him all the way back to his boat. As he reached the boat, Marcus rubbed her head in gratitude, thanking her for saving his life. Once he was safely out of the water, the whale swam away. It was astonishing that a wild animal would go to such lengths to protect a complete stranger. With everyone safe, the team decided it was best to end the dive and head back home, forever changed by the day's events.